Hey guys, how are you today? So just today's a little bit of growth journey from some stuff that came up from my journal today. Um, I've been talking a little bit about limerence and stuff like that. The Clayton's relationship, it's a fantasy relationship with a person that you have actually met, but you've blown it right out of proportion and made a Walt Disney production out of it. And it may sound really crazy and insane, and to many degrees and depths it is. It's not normal. It's not healthy. It's not rational. It's pretty dysfunctional. But it is triggered by trauma. Trauma within you, within your brain, within your body, within your cells, in your memory, which basically, when you really boil it down to a unworthiness piece. And this morning, as I was wandering around my property, I was wondering, is it the piece, the unworthiness itself, or is it the fear that's around it? Because fear, I think, is the driver. So one of the acronyms that you might know about fear is that false evidence appearing real. And face everything and recover, for example. So one of the exercises that I used to do from way back in my AA days was about writing my fears down, having a really good look at them. I'm asking, why do I really have these fears? When it comes to relationships with me personally, and people like me that do manifest this limerence, romantic obsession stuff, it's all driven by fear. It's all driven by a desperate need for love, affection, and attention. Don't get me wrong, insofar as there's an element of that is natural to desire. It's a natural human tendency for a man or a woman or to want the love and affection of another human being. So I know that in the spiritual community there's a lot of, I don't need anyone. I'm a whole being. I'm fully capable within myself. And that may be true to a great degree, but I just think for a minute, if you were the only person on the planet, can you then say you don't need anyone else? So we learn nurture, and we can learn healing, and we can assist our recoveries by somatic practices, cuddle puddles if you've been to ecstatic dances or retreats, massages, all of these things that are there to comfort. And so, me personally, I really like holding hands in public with my girlfriend. I love having her head on my shoulder. I love smelling her hair in my face, I love touching her skin and her touching mine. It's a beautiful thing. It releases all those beautiful, wonderful chemicals in the brain, the oxytocin and the dopamine and the serotonin and all the feel-good stuff. So today, as I was journaling, I managed to rattle it right down to, I have a genuine, authentic, natural desire for companionship and romantic companionship. I've got lots of friends that really love me, really care about me, but that special one, that one that feels warm and cuddly and cozy and is special to you. You have a deeper fondness, a deeper adoration. And it's a symbiotic relationship, both people are getting things met, both people are getting needs met. So I have this natural desire, and what this whole thing about limerence and romantic obsession is really showing me is that I have the capacity for a great love and a desire for a great sovereign love. Sovereign is a word that is akin with royal. Royal is akin with spiritual, king, queen. You know, you hear this, oh, I'm calling in my queen. I personally, I don't like that shit, but, you know, it's a sovereign being where you're two interdependent beings walking along the journey together, hand in hand towards the horizon, you know, so to speak. But the thing with that is you need two people that are doing their own work. I call that conscious relationship, where we both become aware of our own crap. We accept full responsibility for it instead of pointing the finger. We might have to go away from each other for a little while and have some space and deal with that pain so that we can get jiggy with our own God, you know, whatever you want to call God, to be that autonomous, independent, self-sufficient person that can be emotionally available and present for the other and love them in such a way that they feel free, which is a Thich Nhat Hanh, I think it is, says love someone in such a way that they feel free. And this isn't extremely hard to do when you have an anxious, preoccupied attachment style, because you're hanging on to nearly every text, and you can see they've seen the messenger or the message on Messenger, and why haven't they answered it? No one, you know, me, I go into this. No one's that busy. No one's that busy that they can't just, oh, I'll get back to you in a minute, or, you know, and you start triggering off this trauma process of abandonment and hurt and pain and writhing and neediness and clinginess and preoccupation, and it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. So, but obviously we can recover from this. We can recover, clearly, you know, and that's part of what my channel is about, is recovery in all sorts of forms, whatever it is from. I've had a wealth of experience with addictions, you know, and I'm not any stranger whatsoever to the phenomena of craving as it's described in the Alcoholics Anonymous program. Not that I go there that much these days, but there are principles within that I still use today because they're still valid and helpful for me to use. I used them this morning, actually. These 12-step programs do cater to a need, and one of the needs that they really cater to is identification, relating, and connection. Because when you are an addict, or as I was an addict, there was a lot of stuff that I was experiencing in my journey through addiction that I thought, I'm the only one. I'm the only one like this. No one else feels this way. I genuinely believed I was fundamentally flawed. There were times later in my life where I'd given up pretty much all the drugs, but every now and again I'll use a bit of the plant medicine to assist me in my spiritual journey, just to get a different perception of things. I don't go hard on it. For example, a joint, I might have one toke, hold it down for 6 or 7 seconds and then just, you know, go with that. But it's even as mild and as subtle as weed is, it's not any different than bloody ayahuasca or DMT or like, once you're in there, man, you're in. You know, there's no, oh, you know, let's back out of this. Like, when you're in, you're in, and you're not done till you're done. You know, addiction's like that. It's like being shagged by a gorilla. I've heard people say it's like being shagged by a gorilla, and you're not done till the gorilla's done, you know. So yeah, this natural desire for companionship, and which is healthy and wholesome and natural and God-given and right and all the rest of it. And then there's also what I require. So the last 3 months have been a far more about what I require, and I needed this person to come into my reality, into my experience, to shine the light on the really dirty, dark, pussy, festering places of shame, unworthiness, toxicity that was in me. And she played her role perfectly. And I'm very grateful to her, for her and to her. So that was a requirement, because I'd made the decision some years ago that I was going to go on a healing journey. I wanted to expand in consciousness. I came from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland down to the Gold Coast in Queensland. And half of the reason I came was to be on the hero's journey to grow and expand in consciousness. And I knew that it was going to be times of painfulness where I have to stretch. I have to stretch, and I have to be willing to lean right into the tension and the fear. And it's very much the same as where I'm at now with this woman. She's orbited out of my life, and I stand on the precipice of looking into the abyss, into the darkness, into the void by myself. And I realize I'm by myself, and there's no one to come along and rescue me. There's no one to come and pat me on the head and kiss me on the forehead and say, I love you, Dad. I have to now give this to myself, to such a point that, I build myself up again and get my self-worth and self-esteem, and really continue to shine light on that unworthiness piece and that fear piece. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but when you come across a person, a man or a woman or whatever, and you're really attracted, it's almost like all the survival shit kicks in. And in my personal experience, there's a tape recording going on in the back of my mind that says, whatever you do, don't screw this up, because this is like the hand that feeds you. This is your addiction, you might say. This is your fix. This is your love addiction. Don't screw up the supply. Do whatever the hell you got to do to maintain the supply with your dealer. Bend over backwards, sell your soul to the devil, bloody, all the shit that goes with it anyway, I won't get too crass on that. So yeah, as I journaled this morning, my desire, what I desire and what I require. How can I align the two? How can I really genuinely align the two? Coming from a vibrational, frequential place of conscious creating out of love and not out of fear, understanding that all is vibration, understanding that all is a match. We attract at whatever level we're vibrating at. It's a vibrational match. We only ever end up with a vibrational match. Or in the case where we get, for example, you might have heard stories where people have won lotto and they've been broke within just a few years. They won $7 million and they're broke within a couple of years and worse off for it, because they didn't know how to deal with that kind of finance. They weren't at that vibrational level. They weren't at that level of character strength or character building that they required to be able to be responsible and use that money in a decent way. That's a bit of an assumption there, but I think you get the general idea. So I've got a desire, I've got a requirement, I want to align the two. I've done a lot of meditation this morning. I was talking to my God. Please help me to release the fear, and I'll release the energy, because I still have the energy of this woman off to the side here. There's like a bubble of energy, and I want to let go of the energy. So I just want to finish this video on a couple of things in regard to that, because I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, and one of them is about the no contact rule. A no contact rule when it comes to relationships is generally Generally speaking, I think the intention is to get that person back into your life. That's generally the motivation. It's a subtle form of manipulation, or it's a changing, trying to swap out the polarity, the feminine and the masculine. There's also, I kept thinking to myself, don't block this woman. It's not her fault. Leave the door open. Yesterday I blocked her for a while. I don't want to give this person capacity to hurt me. She never set out to hurt me. It was never her intention to hurt me. It was my own projection of my own stuff. Do I secretly desire and hope that one day she'd reach out to me? Yes, I do. But I have to sit back and really ask myself, if that were to happen and she hadn't dealt with any of her stuff, would that be beneficial, functional, or wholesome for me? And the answer to that is no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be. So I'm trying to let go of that vibration with her. And the other thing was because I was thinking about maybe I should just apologize or refriend her on Facebook because I unfriended her. But you know, it was still coming from a place of trying to get this soul back into my experience, into my projection, into my reality. And as you know, I shared yesterday, I turned 60 yesterday. You know, I've lived 60 years without this person in my life. They're not a vital element in my life. It's not important that she be in my experience for the rest of my life. As a friend, as a lover, as anyone at all, really. You know, she's just not required. Would I like her to be? Yes, I would. As to whether that happens, I don't know. But so long as my motive is to fully let go of the energy and get on with my life. And so as I shared the other day, some of the goals, the short-term goals I've got is to do these YouTube videos. I've always wanted a Triumph motorcycle. I want to get my motorcycle license. I'm trying to swap out my car for a ute. There's big planetary cosmic changes going on with the new moon in Cancer at the moment, and which, if you believe in all that stuff, which I do kind of tend to lean into that, you know, there's big energetic shifts going on at the moment, and I'm just, I just want to say that I feel love for myself today. I feel love for myself in my own heart. I feel in my own frame. I'm safe in my own body. I've got my own back. I'm supportive of me. I'm giving myself the things that I love. And just to end on too, is I noticed too that, you know, for 20 years as I've been in this spiritual journey, for me, I've been so focused on the shadow stuff, the psychology stuff, the strategy stuff, the formula stuff. If I could just get E equals MC squared and get the formula right, then I'd be okay. And, you know, when it comes to this kind of healing and this dropping into your heart space, there's only one way through it, man. You got to feel. You got to feel to heal. You've got to face what it is that I've got to face what it is I'm resisting, which is just the idea of being alone and, you know, walking the journey by myself and growing through those uncomfortable moments and not giving up on myself, not rejecting myself, not abandoning myself, not giving myself up for someone else, which is what I've always done. So anyway, as normal, I hope that might have been a little bit of help, maybe not, bullshit, whatever. But yeah, rock on, peace out, see you next time.